Joe Biden's legislative record is highly problematic, and his record as a senator is highly problematic, I think, for folks on the left and of various stripes, frankly, running from finance to his role in the Clarence hearings, or Clarence Thomas hearings, I should say. And I'm old enough to remember when we referred to him as senator from MBNA. But
yep.
There's another set of problems that he has. And I frankly I'm not 100% sure that I know exactly how to feel about this stuff. There have been numerous women who have come out and said that Joe Biden, and they have been careful to say that it's not any type of sexual assault, but that he invades their space in ways that are inappropriate and too forward. And I to me, it's almost like, and I don't know, I don't see him doing this to men per se. Maybe he does. But there is a certain amount of like quality where he feels like he has propriety over folks in some way. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I think if his record didn't contain as many sort of paternalistic sort of aspects to it, and by that I'm not calling him a sexist, but I'm saying that he's paternalistic and in a way that is very, very old-fashioned toward women. I would think this might not have quite the same salience, but his record does show that. I mean, he was anti-abortion. He believed that men needed to be, informed if their wives or girlfriends were contemplating abortion. I mean, he has been, the way he treated Anita Hill, not that he was disrespectful toward her, but he was paternalistic toward her, and in a way that was, frankly, offensive. So the fact that he sort of did this thing, I mean, someone described him as a human golden retriever. Well, the fact is that, if you have a golden retriever that is constantly jumping up on people and sniffing crotches and doing that sort of thing, some people might not mind that, but there are people who do, and it's inappropriate to have a dog around that does that all the time, because there are people that are uncomfortable with that. I happen to be one. I don't particularly like to be touched by strangers. It's just not my thing. Now, and maybe that makes me a cold person. I just can't help it. I've always been that way. If that Joe Biden were coming up and touching me and, sniffing my hair and kissing my head and all that, I mean, no, I wouldn't take it as a sexist thing necessarily, but I would think I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it, just simply, and, it's made worse by the fact that he was a powerful political person. He was doing this to women who were involved in politics, like Lucy Flores, the one who was running for governor in Nevada, and the woman who was working on Jim Himes' campaign. Those are women who, you're not really in a position to do what Angela Merkel did when Bush tried to rub her shoulders, which is just,
right.
Violently wave him off, because he's very important. And he's somebody that, you got to go, is it worth it? And women are just getting tired of having to make that calculation all the time. Is it worth it for me to say anything? No. Just let it go. Let old Joe do it, or whoever, whatever it is, at whatever level. Now, I understand that this is a gray area that is new to people, because I don't think most people think that Joe Biden meant to be, dominating, or that he was meaning to invade people's space for some nefarious purpose. It's just the way he is. But society's changing. And,
yep.
People in public life, the rules are changing, and he is kind of a man out of time. I mean, I hate to say it, but, he's a man of the past.
I think that exactly. I mean, these things, I think, are heightened because there's some question about that in the first place, right? Like, these things feed into this narrative. One, that he's a man from the past. His politics seem to be, sort of like dipped in amber from 1993 in some respects. I think the thing that happened with Stacey Abrams is also indicative of this.
Yes.
That the same attitude that allows him to think that he has a free pass to encroach upon people's personal space was the same idea in his head that, yeah, I can leverage Stacey Abrams for for my deficits, and she'll like it, or
she's a good gal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, I'm a former vice president, and it's to her benefit to be seen. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's not incumbent upon me to presume that she has some sense of like autonomy or a desire for how her career, trajectory goes. So I think that is indicative of a lot of things about Joe Biden that I think feed into that narrative. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, I would have thought that he would have jumped into the race by now. Frankly,
me too.
And I suspect that to the extent that he was planning on jumping into the race, or that he's planning to jump into the race, that he would have thought that he would have jumped into the race by now too. But I think they might be waiting for a lot of this to die down. But I don't know that it's
die down.
Going
He's
to,
wrong.
right?
It's not going to. This is going to be part of the campaign. He's going to have to deal with it, and that's part of the problem for him. The fact that he didn't know this, there were memes all over the internet about this. I mean, who didn't know that this was going to be an issue for Joe Biden? I did. I'm sure you did. Most people did. And yet they seem to be completely unprepared for it. And that's just another aspect of Biden just kind of thinking like he can just coast on his record and on his reputation and on his image as this great guy that was Obama's wingman all those years, and everybody loves him. Well, the polls show that he's popular, but he's not overwhelmingly popular. He's not like over 50%. He's not somebody that everybody in the Democratic Party is clamoring for. So, I just really feel like he's a man of the past, and he would be wise to retain his reputation as a former lion of the Senate, and he's destroying his legacy, I think, by running, and I'm not sure. People seem to think he's the strongest candidate, and I honestly do not think that's true. I mean, I watch him, and he's not even as good as he was, 10 or 20 years ago, and he wasn't that great then.
That's right.
He wasn't. So he never won one electoral vote or one primary, I don't think, ever. So, I don't know. I mean, if he's the nominee, God bless him. I'll vote for him. I'll even send him money, but I just don't see it. I mean, I think that he passed his moment.
All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about two things. One, we saw some first quarter numbers. You're from California. You know what it's like to talk about box office tallies. It's sort of a second order issue, but maybe in a race this size, it has more salience. And then we would be remiss if we did not talk about the fact that the President of the United States seems unable to either say the word origins or to access it in some way. We will be right back. I'm Sam Seder. This is Ring of Fire Radio.